as I'm hoping you can see behind me, we've got the grade somewhat leveled back there. It's enough to get the containers up here. You know, all the piers are now where they belong, and we got our steel shipment today. And we're gonna bore some holes, cut it up, and get ready to start welding. Coming right up. All right, YouTube. Well, I just got back from a visit with the Green Dream project. Went over there, helped them do some measurements. They got a really huge project coming up. I'm not gonna spoil it. No spoiler alerts. But hey, if you haven't checked out their channel yet, go check them out. I'll put a link in the description box down below and see what's up and coming. So today we got our steel shipment, and we're going to start laying out the steel plates that are going to go on top of the piers. I'm going to show you how I'm doing that right now. Alright, so we're going to start doing the layout. We'll divide this into 4 equal parts. This is 4 foot long by 12 inches wide by 3/8 thick. And these are going to go on top of the piers that we put out there that you saw in the last video that the container is going to weld to. So let's start out by marking this in 12-inch sections. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is take our speed square, and we're going to go ahead and mark those sections. And none of this really has to be extremely precise. Having a problem with my pencil. There we go. None of these have to be extremely precise. They are just being welded to. They're a structural component, but they're not a critical measurement component. So now we got 4 equal sections. We've got 8 piers out there, so we've got another one sheet of steel over here that we're going to use for the other 4. So now the holes are going to be bored 6 inches on center. So we're going to go 6, measure out 18, measure out 30, and then 42. So we're just going to take our speed square. We're going to make just a little mark across the center of each one of these. And if you'll notice on the speed square, it's got little graduations right here in measurements. So we got 6-inch mark right about there. So now that we're going to come 6 inches in, mark a little X across each one of these lines. And that's it. And that's our layout. So now each one of these little X's, I'm going to go ahead and bore the holes. Alright, so what we're going to drill these holes with is, I've got a mag drill, and just like the name implies, it's an electromagnetic drill. And we got the big old magnets here, and the magnets aren't energized until you turn it on. We're using a 1/2-inch bore bit. This is something more like you might see on a mill or a lathe. It's not really like your normal drill bit. So first thing we got to do is just line up our hole. You can see how easy I can move this bit. Once I turn it on, you can see it's stuck there for good. So let's get drilling. Then we need some lube for it. It always helps with a little bit of lube, right? disengage the magnet, And just like that, we've got a nice clean hole. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the other 3 done. I won't bore you with doing all of that, but I have had several people PMing me saying they wanted a little more information on the tools I used for things that I've been doing out here. So this mag drill is actually called a frame drill. It's made by Hogan, and the reason why they call it a frame drill is because it's got a very shallow profile, and they use this on like truck frames and whatnot to drill holes for toolboxes or, you know, other accessories. So I had bought it for that originally, and this has just been a godsend. That's easier than doing with a hand drill or even a drill press. You've seen how easy it machined through that. All right, we'll be right back. All right, so for this part of the process, I'm using a TerraFirma-X 45. There's several connections you gotta have to it. You gotta have an air hose. You have an air hose right here. You gotta have a 220 power supply, which I have. That is being powered by my generator trainer that I made. You've also got to have a work clamp, and that's the ground wire that you see hooked to the clamp right there. And then you got to have the actual cutting tool itself, and I'm going to demonstrate how that works right now. Alright, gloves always important, especially if you got old hands like mine that for some reason just rip apart at the slightest touch of anything even remotely sharp. You get cut by rubber bands. I'm going to put on my darker sunglasses. I mean, they're not really 100% necessary, but it's a good idea because sometimes you can get the flashback. But I'm just going to give you an idea of what this looks like. So I want to make a nice clean cut line. You want to kind of like line up your line. Then you start it at one end and you go. You ready? Here we go. Now you can see there's been a few times I've had to go back when I get a little ahead of myself. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to freehand the last second of it so I can hold it with my other hand. And I'm horrible at freehand, so bear with me. There you have it. We have one nice clean cut line and 3/8 plate steel with a plasma cutter. I'm gonna make 2 more cuts. I'll be right back. So the only other thing that I have to do to this is that slag that's right there that's created for the cut. I just like to knock that off, and then I go back with a grinder and smooth out all the edges and then go from there. Well, that's it. That's 4 of them. There's 3 right there. There's 1 laying on the ground right there. Then what'll happen tomorrow is these will slide over the rebar, and then I'll weld it up, and we'll grind it smooth, and then all these corners will get cut around to match the piers once again with the plasma cutter. That's it. I've got all the rebar ground down. Plates are all in place. This is the last of 8. And we're going to get to welding this when we come back. So basically what I'm going to be using for this portion of the project is my Miller Passport Plus that I bought about 8 years ago. I've used it for everything from mild welding to huge welding. So it's portable. It weighs about 45 pounds. If you haven't seen this video that I did on it about 7 years ago, 8 years ago, I'll put a link down in the description box. So it's already set up. I'm not going to go through all that. First, we're just going to tack on each side, just to kind of hold it in place, and then we'll weld it all the way around. Plate is welded solid to the rebar, which is then solid on the concrete piers. So I got, this is the second one I got done. Got 6 more to do. I'll be right back. So one of the things I like about this Miller Passport Plus portability, 45 pounds. As you can see, I got a little tank out there, just kind of strung along. I was able to reach all the piers out here without moving the generator trailer or anything like that. I'm really disappointed that Miller doesn't make this anymore, but they actually make lighter ones now. So I don't know, maybe that's a good thing. But I've had this thing for 8 years. I've got bigger welders too. But this thing here has always been my go-to. One of my favorites. If I'm out in the field, it'll run off 110 or 220. So I can take my little Honda generator or my big diesel 220 generator, and you know, it gets the job done. Anyway, what you can see, I've got them all welded up, and that's going to do it for this episode. Tomorrow's the big day though. We're moving the shipping containers onto these piers, and then I will be welding them up again. So thank you all for watching, and until next time.